Hi, this is Robert Anderson with Tortoise Realty Group here on behalf of the CityBiz.co audience. I welcome Sarah Galperin of Compass here in Boca Raton, Florida. Thanks, Sarah, for joining us today.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to delve right into the questions now, if you don't mind. Um, so, how's your diverse professional background in both fashion, advertising, healthcare, and entrepreneurship shaped your approach to real estate?
Wow, that was a mouthful. So I spent 10 years in fashion and advertising and 10 years in healthcare, mainly doing project management, sales, and marketing, which really are the core in real estate. But I do feel that I bring a different perspective because of these industries when I'm dealing with clients in real estate. So, for instance, when I'm taking a client, a buyer out to look at a property, and I mainly dealt with geriatrics and families of geriatric patients in healthcare. So, when I'm taking clients out to look at homes, and if they're my age or a little bit older or much older, I have them think about what is their long term goal. Are they looking to stay in the home for a while? Do they need to think about possibly taking in their parents, and they need to have room for them and be comfortable living in this home with their family? And in fashion, I did a lot of location scouts in California, and I'm very involved, and I love architecture. So when I go to a home, I can see past what the seller is showing you, and I love to point this out to my clients, and I love for them to see the potential and what the home can bring, and really what is aesthetically pleasing for the masses when they're thinking about resale value. So for me, I feel like these sort of life experiences in my careers really has shaped me as a real estate agent.
Oh, great, great. So, what inspired you to pursue real estate after being in those industries?
So we moved here in 2020 in the heart of COVID, and both my husband and I just picked up and left, and we were working remote for our companies. He still works remote for UCLA, and believe it or not, I still have a consulting job back in Los Angeles, but I didn't think that was going to be the case. So when we moved here, I really had to think about what I can do for a career. And, I took a step back, and I'm like, I'm in my mid 40s. If I'm going to start something new, I have to love it. And I had always toyed with the idea of doing real estate. And so I thought now is as good a time as ever to do it. And I'm like, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to take time away from my family and, start something new, then I'm going to find something that I'm passionate about. And I did it, and I went full force, and I absolutely love it.
You moved here in 2020, Sarah, and I'm sure since then you've gotten extensive knowledge of the market here. How do you use that to benefit your clients in the real estate transactions?
That's a great question. So, in the 4 years I have been here, I've actually done about $45 million worth of business, which was crazy to me because I didn't do real estate in Los Angeles. And I think one of the reasons this has happened is because I am actually a full-time agent. So when I'm not, looking at properties for my clients actively with them, I'm doing it for myself. I'm going to brokers' opens. I'm networking. I'm going to open houses. I feel to be a really knowledgeable and good agent, you do need to be hyper local. So I pick few areas, and I really learn it inside and out. So when someone calls me, it's not like, let me think about it. Let me look at Zillow. Let me look at the MLS. I understand very well what is going on in that market. And I also know that, and I'm sure you realize this in real estate as well, that the market is fluid and it can change in a matter of weeks. Some weeks the market's amazing, some weeks not so much. And I use that information to let my clients, be it a buyer or seller, know when it's a good time to act, or maybe not. Maybe they need to cool off and think of waiting for a little bit.
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely. Can you share an example of a challenging situation that you faced in a transaction and how you successfully resolved it?
So a couple of months ago, I got a referral through an online sort of through a Compass portal. And I was really excited because usually I get my referrals by word of mouth or through someone who's actually worked with me prior. So this was the first out of nowhere they reached out to me, and we had a buyer's consultation, and I figured out what they were looking for. And we went through the different scenarios. It was a couple that was moving here from out of state. They were selling their home that they had lived in for 30 years, and they wanted to downsize and buy something to be closer to their kids. Now, again, I definitely learned from this experience because there was no loan involved and because they were selling a home and they were cash, and I had the purchase agreement for the home that they were selling. I thought I was fine. We put an offer, it was accepted. We put quite a large sum in our earnest money deposit in escrow, and we had removed almost all of our contingencies. And 2 weeks before they were ready to close, they started ghosting me. And I reached out to their daughter, and they were embarrassed to tell me that they didn't realize that they had a loan on the home and they didn't have enough money to close. And I was just besides myself. I was trying to come up with creative financing for them, a bridge loan, a hard money loan, anything. It wasn't even that much money for them that they needed. But I think they were just so overwhelmed with the process that they didn't know what to do. I mean, it got to a point where I wanted to lend them the money. I didn't. And so I got a lawyer on their behalf to try to speak with the seller, to try to discuss with them what could be done for them to get their money back. And they refused. I mean, they were in the wrong. We knew it. The sellers were really, it was actually horrible. These were older people that really didn't understand the whole process, even though I had tried to explain everything to them. And they were about to lose $50,000. I, in the last minute, wrote a letter to the sellers, begging them to think about karma, think about, what if they were in that situation. And finally, at the end, they gave them like half of their money back, which, they didn't even have to give them anything. And so I was so relieved. It was so cute. They had offered to give me $500 for my time to thank me. I'm like, I don't want your money. I just want you guys to do well and hope that things turn out good for you in the future.
Right. That's a good story. So, as a mother of four children, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of a demanding real estate career?
I don't. If I'm going to be honest, I work 24/7, and it's not good. My kids know that I am the type of person that works all the time. It is my personality, but they also know that, I would do anything for them, and I try to carve out time for us on vacations or days that we do things together. So I have a village at home, a husband who's very involved, my mother-in-law I wouldn't be able to do my job if I didn't have her. So I'm very grateful for that. But I can't tell you that I have found this like secret sauce as how I'm able to manage it all. I pray each day that things go well and move on to the next.
Yes, right, great. So, what strategies do you employ to ensure exceptional customer service, which I think you already told us some of that, and satisfaction for your clients throughout the buying or selling process?
So I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. And because I've always been a businesswoman, I treat it very professionally. Like, you have an option to work with anyone out there. If you choose me, I am very grateful for that. And I don't take that lightly. I think communication is key. It's very important to manage people's expectations from the get go. I outline everything from the beginning, and I really try to keep to it. I do a lot of hand holding, probably more than I need to, but I'm learning as I go on. When to sort of scale back and when to go full force. So really being able to communicate with my clients, set out examples of what I'm going to do and actually do it. I think overall they've been very happy with that, and that has attributed to my success.
Oh, great. How do you stay updated on latest trends and developments in the area, and use that to provide value to your clients?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm with Compass. I'm very fortunate to be with this brokerage. We have a lot of seminars and classes that they actually require us to take. I recently became a principal broker, so I'm sorry, a principal agent. So I attend a lot of events in the area, and we have a lot of sort of networking with other agents outside of Florida that we work with. So I feel that that adds value to my clients, and I'm constantly bringing that to them when we're discussing properties and areas, for them to look at.
Can you describe a time when you went above and beyond for a client, demonstrating your dedication and commitment to their needs?
I recently had some clients that live in New Jersey that came down here, and they were looking to buy a home. They ended up buying a home a lot earlier than they thought they would. And so they purchased this home. They don't really have anyone here in Florida. They still had to go back to New Jersey and pack up their home and sell it. And there needed to be things done with this current home that they purchased. So I have been a house manager for the last 3 months with helping them take care of termites, fixing leaks in their pool, finding them contractors to renovate. I mean, my husband thinks I'm crazy. He's like, "What are you doing?" And, I think it's part of the job. They're over the moon. I don't think they had anticipated that I would be so involved and so helpful. Luckily, I had a little bit of a lag where I was in between clients. So I had some time to dedicate. So I spent a lot of time on helping them with that. And they were floored. Like I took care of a lot for them. And so I think it's part of the job. I think it's what's required. Some people think it's going above and beyond. For me, I think it's just what you get when you hire me as your agent.
Can you describe specific examples of how relocating to Boca Raton, Florida has profoundly impacted your life, leading to positive changes and empowering you to embrace new opportunities and take risks that have enriched your life, in contrast to the limitations in staying in your familiar surroundings of Los Angeles?
I think anyone who's lived somewhere for a long period of time gets comfortable and doesn't want to try anything new, especially if you're in your mid 40s and you have children. You think that that's pretty much it. Moving here actually prompted both myself and my husband to really look outside of what we would normally do and try something else. He started a startup. I went into real estate, all of this while trying to juggle our full-time jobs at first and, our family. And it's been amazing. Like we sort of opened ourselves up to new experiences that we normally wouldn't have done. So I will forever be grateful for this move. And I think anybody who's looking to sort of change their life has to see that, you have to be open to these opportunities. And so, I don't regret it for a second. And all of our friends and family back in Los Angeles, they look at what we did. They thought we were crazy at first. And now they've all said to us, "Wow, we could see how your lives have changed for the better. And, we're so proud of you." So I think that it's been such a great experience for us. Even my children, back in LA, the weather's pretty much beautiful all year round. In the summers, we sort of keep them home. They do like little day trips. Here, because the weather is not that great in the summer, we're sort of forced to send them to summer camp. And I would have never done this back in LA. And they love it. I mean, they've made, I think, friends for a lifetime, experiences that they would have never had. I mean, it seems silly, but just these little things, these moves have like profoundly changed our lives.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you, Sarah. That was a great end of our conversation today, and appreciate your time. And on behalf of the CityBiz audience, we look forward to our next interview. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.